Okay, so picture this. You're all set for this huge EE internship interview,
Hmm.
right? Resume's perfect. You've got your outfit picked out.
Hmm.
But here's the thing. You're going up against a ton of other amazing candidates. It can feel kind of overwhelming.
Right, totally. It's like, you have the skills, but how do you actually stand out, especially when everyone's so impressive?
Exactly. And that's what we're tackling today. We're diving into some killer interview advice from career expert Richard McMunn. He's got this super popular YouTube video where he breaks down those common internship interview questions that always seem to trip people up.
Yeah, his strategies are seriously insightful. Like, he gives you the tools to own the interview, not just survive it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And one thing he emphasizes right away is the power of practice. Even just dedicating a few minutes to running through potential questions can make a world of difference.
It's like anything else, right? The more you practice, the more confident and natural you become.
Totally. He talks about crafting what he calls star stories. These are specific examples from your experiences that really showcase the skills and qualities they're looking for, which actually segues perfectly into his second big piece of advice.
Hmm.
Connect those star stories to the company and the specific role.
It's about going beyond the generic, I'm a hard worker, and showing them how your unique experiences directly relate to what they do.
It's like you're saying, I haven't just pictured myself in this role. I've pictured myself excelling in this role because of my background and skills.
Exactly. It shows you've done your homework and you're genuinely invested in them.
Absolutely. Okay, let's dive into some of those common interview questions that often feel like a trap. McMunn starts with the classic, tell me about yourself. Seems simple enough, but I know I've definitely fumbled through it before.
It seems deceptively easy, but it's actually your chance to set the stage for the entire interview.
And McMunn gives a really helpful structure for tackling it.
Mm.
He says, touch upon your skills, accomplishments, hobbies, genuine interests, and what you hope to contribute during the internship.
Basically, you're painting a picture of who you are beyond the bullet points on your resume. You're showcasing your personality and what makes you unique.
It's like you're bringing your resume to life, giving it personality, showing them the real you.
Right, because at the end of the day, they're not just hiring a list of skills, they're hiring a person.
So true. Okay, so let's move on to a question that I think trips up a lot of people. Why are you interested in this internship? Because honestly, sometimes it feels like all internships are kind of the same, right?
And that's where that deep research we talked about comes in. You have to know what makes this company, this opportunity stand out to you.
Yeah, and McMunn says nailing this question comes down to two main things. First, you got to explain how this internship fits into your long-term career goals. It shows them you're driven and ambitious.
It's like you're saying, this isn't just a temporary thing for me. This is a step towards something bigger.
Yes. And the second thing McMahon talks about is showing genuine interest in what this specific company is doing. He says highlight their achievements. Frame the internship as a chance to learn from a company you really admire.
And this is where your research really shines. Mentioning a project that resonated with you, a value that aligns with yours. It shows you've done your homework and you're not just sending out generic applications.
It's about proving that you want this specific internship at this specific company, not just any internship.
Exactly. Okay. Are you ready to tackle the million-dollar question? The one that I think we'd all love a magic answer to.
Oh, you mean, why should we offer you this internship?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one always makes me sweat a little.
It's definitely a high-stakes question, but instead of letting the pressure get to you, think of it as a chance to showcase what makes you so valuable.
I like that. So how does McMunn suggest tackling this one?
He suggests a really smart approach that I like to call the win-win strategy. Basically, you want to emphasize how the internship benefits both of you. Show them how it helps you reach your goals, and D, how you'll bring fresh ideas and perspectives to their team.
So it's about highlighting that mutually beneficial relationship, right? Love it.
Exactly. It shows them you understand that an internship is a two-way street. It's about what you can offer them, not just what they can offer you.
And honestly, who wouldn't want to hire someone who gets that? Someone who sees the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And remember those star stories we talked about? This is your time to bring them back. Subtly weave in those examples that show how your skills and experiences directly address their needs.
It's like you're connecting the dots for them, showing them exactly why you're the perfect fit. You know, I actually wrote down a quote from McMunn's video that I think sums this up perfectly. He says, the internship is going to be beneficial to your long-term goals, but you can also say that you will bring creative ideas to their team that will benefit their company, so it's a win-win situation.
I love that. It really highlights that balance you're striving for. You're there to learn and grow, for sure, but also make a real impact with your unique talents.
Okay, so we've covered tell me about yourself, why this internship, and the dreaded why you. What's next on the interview checklist?
Well, McMunn brings up a question that often throws people off. How do you handle feedback and criticism?
That's interesting. Why bring up something negative when you're trying to make a good first impression?
Because it actually says a lot about you, about your character, your ability to learn and adapt. And remember, internships are all about growth and development.
And to really grow, you got to be open to hearing those things,
Yeah,
even when it's tough.
exactly. And McMunn emphasizes that he's all about viewing feedback as this essential tool for growth. He actually has this great line. I love it. He says, feedback is the breakfast of champions.
Okay, I love that. It really drives the point home.
Yeah.
But, we've talked about connecting your skills and experiences to the company. How would showing this openness to feedback look different across different types of internships?
That's a great question. Let's say you're interviewing for like a marketing internship, right? You could talk about a time you got feedback on a social media campaign you created, how you took that feedback and used it to make your next campaign even better.
Right. It
Yeah.
shows you're all about learning and adapting, which is huge in the marketing world.
Exactly. Now imagine you're interviewing for a software engineering internship. This time, you could talk about a code review where you got some really helpful criticism, how you used it to improve your code, and how it made you a better programmer overall.
So no matter what the field is, it's about showing that you see feedback as a way to grow.
Exactly. It shows you're not just there to take orders, but to actively learn and become a better version of yourself within that specific company environment.
Okay, so we're getting close to wrapping things up here, but McMunn really stresses that the interview isn't over until you ask some thoughtful questions. I used to dread this part.
Oh, I get it. It's like, what do you ask? That doesn't sound super generic, right?
Yes. So what kind of questions does McMunn recommend?
He says focus on questions that show you're genuinely curious and ready to contribute. For example, instead of just asking about the day-to-day tasks, you could ask for advice on how to really excel in the role, or maybe something about the company's approach to mentorship.
It shows you're already thinking about how to make the most of your time there and grow within the company.
Exactly. Another good one is asking about the team dynamics and the company culture. It shows you're interested in the bigger picture, not just the job description.
And it kind of subtly shows that you're a team player who's excited to join a positive work environment.
Right. Basically, asking insightful questions at the end does two things. It shows you're engaged and not just going through the motions, and it subtly positions you as someone who's proactive and ready to hit the ground running.
It's like you're already picturing yourself in the role, eager to learn and contribute.
Exactly. It's about finding an internship that's a good fit for everyone involved.
Okay, so before we finish our deep dive into acing those internship interviews, let's recap the key takeaways from Richard McMunn.
It's like having a cheat sheet for interview success.
First up, practice, practice, practice. Even if it's just for a few minutes, get those star stories polished and ready to go. Second, connect those experiences to the company. Show them why you're the perfect fit for this specific internship.
And remember, it's a two-way street highlight, that win-win scenario. Show them how this internship will help you reach your goals and how your skills will benefit their team.
Be open to feedback. Be ready to adapt. And always end the interview by asking those insightful questions that show you're already thinking ahead.
It's all about making a great, lasting impression.
And on that note, we're out. But keep those good vibes going. Keep prepping and go crush those interviews.